When I was a kid, we lived out in the country and this very pregger's dog showed up on the farm. My stepdad told us not to feed it cause we already had more dogs than we needed, and if we fed her she might stick around and have her puppies. So of course we secretly fed her. Just as my stepdad predicted, she had her puppies. We were thrilled but knew we would have to hide them from my stepdad. He is not a cruel man, but he would have killed them. It might be hard for a lot of people to stomach, but we were living pretty hand to mouth and he lived in reality of food for dogs versus food for kids. We didn't have the money to support a stray dog's puppies or heck even the money for gas to take them to the nearest shelter. After a few weeks of sneaking the mama dog food in back of our feed shed, she stopped showing up. I worked on a dairy, so I started sneaking a little milk home in my saddlebags to feed the pups. Unfortunately, after a few weeks of that, my stepdad found them and was pretty irate over the disobedience and stealing milk. However, with much pleading, my sisters and I convinced him to let us keep them. He said he wasn't paying for shots or food. Fine by me, I could make in a few weeks at the dairy to get this done. Unfortunately, orphan puppies have weak immune systems and they all got parvo before I had the money. My sisters and I spent all day and night for several days trying to keep them alive with an eyedropper of water to keep them from getting dehydrated. One by one each pup succumbed to the illness. Eventually only a single one was left, and my stepdad, softened by our dedication, told us we could keep it if it lived. By some miracle she lived. We named her Sassafras and she was the cutest little corgi-ish mutt. One day my stepdad calls to me and tells me to grab a towel. I come outside with a bath towel and he shakes his head no, and I sends me back to get a work towel. I come back out and he looks at me as sad as a true blue cowboy could look and says, "I'm sorry, Pumpkin, I didn't know she was there." He had accidentally backed over the puppy's head when he put the farm truck into reverse. Sassafras had been sleeping in the shade behind the tire. He says, "It's your dog, you need to handle this." I will never forget how surprisingly hot the insides of my puppy were as I scooped her into a towel to bury her. I was heartbroken. A month or so later, my stepdad comes into my room with a holding baby possum in his hand next to his chest. I was perplexed because possums were a bane on the farm cause they killed chickens. I stood there confused and he gruffly says, "Well, are you going to take it or not?" I cautiously reach out and grab it. It wasn't a possum, it was a blue heeler puppy. She turned out to be the most amazing dog. I was blessed to have her in my life for almost 17 years and could write a book on all the adventures we had together. I know my stepdad might get a lot of flack from the internet folks, but he was an amazing man who taught me so very much and offered very real and often hard lessons in the realities of life. I know I am better for having him in my life. Story 5. When I was 8, I had taken a summer acting class with a small-time actor/director, let's call him Mr. S.